Many Republicans distancing themselves now from President Trump after the deadly riots yesterday.
There is even talk of invoking the 25th Amendment to remove the president after the angry mob of his supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol building, some believing the president encouraged this behavior. Our Eric Pointer joining us now live from the newsroom. Eric, what exactly is the 25th Amendment and why do people want to use it now?
So it outlines the constitutional process for removing the president from office, something some are suggesting should be done after yesterday's events. The Capitol invasion coming after President Trump's speech to supporters, where he doubled down on the claims that the election was stolen and suggested they march down to the Capitol. Now, this is video of the aftermath at the Capitol. In the 25th Amendment, the vice president and the majority of the president's executive officers or another body designated by Congress can take steps to declare the president unable to serve. After yesterday's events, we've seen members of Congress calling for an end to the president's claims even before the results were certified. Utah Senator Mitt Romney saying the president's supporters will never accept certified results of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris when the president continues claiming a stolen election.
For any who remain insistent on an audit in order to satisfy the many people who believe that the election was stolen, I'd offer this perspective. No congressional audit is ever going to convince these voters, particularly when the president will continue to say that the election was stolen. The best way we can show respect for the voters who are upset is by telling them the truth.
We've also seen calls for President Trump's removal. Republican Governor of Vermont, Phil Scott, tweeted, "The fabric of our democracy and the principles of our republic are under attack by the president. Enough is enough. President Trump should resign or be removed from office by his cabinet or the Congress." The first three sections of the amendment have been used in cases before, when Nixon's vice president resigned and when Nixon himself resigned. It also allowed Reagan to temporarily succeed power when he underwent surgery, and again when George W. Bush was under anesthesia. But the fourth section, to remove a president when the others believe he is, quote, unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, end quote, has never been used. And we've also seen more calls for President Trump's removal, including from the National Association of Manufacturers, a major business group that previously supported the president.